Hello, everybody, and welcome to this review of Lies of P. This game was so much better than I expected. I've kind of, I play a lot of the Souls likes that come out. It's really the best term. I don't know what other genre to give it because it's a very specified thing. I don't like just saying Souls like because I feel like it's taking more away from games like this. So it's like it's not trying. You know what I mean, though. But I've played a lot of the ones that came out, and some of them, most of them, I'd say are better than average. This one's good, really good. So let's get right into it. The story of this game is super fascinating. You have the player character, who is Pinocchio. Let's be real here. He's Pinocchio. This entire game is Pinocchio. It is the story of Pinocchio, which I absolutely love. It makes me want to read the original Pinocchio story. I found an audiobook to listen to, so I'm going to have to do that. But it's the story of Pinocchio. You play as the puppet, and you get in there. Puppets have overrun the city of Krat. And throughout this game, you are learning what happened. But also, you're learning an evolving story about the puppets, and you find notes that are like background more on. It's super interesting, super fascinating. I love this world that they built. I I want to spend more time in it. I'm on playthrough 3, not just because I like the gameplay of it, but because I love the world. I love being in it. I love seeing it. Which brings me to the next section, visuals. It's beautiful. The entire game has this dark, gothic vibe that just it reminds me of Bloodborne, which a big part of why I like that game is that vibe, that feeling. And Lies of P brings it. It just has a mood to it, and it feels good. The gameplay itself, the gameplay is really good. So much better than I expected. I will start with the negative, which was I felt like there were weird spikes in challenge, in difficulty, because I could easily make it through an area, killing like everything. And then I'd get to the boss, and basically, this is where if I could, I would insert the GIF from I think it's the first Avengers movie where the Hulk takes Loki and just starts slamming him on the ground over and over. I'm Loki in that situation. The boss is the Hulk. That was the only thing that had me like, all right, I guess I've got to level up more, even though I just plowed right through the area. Apparently, from what I hear, they changed that upload, like they did a patch to like change things up. So hopefully that has made it better. I need to go back to it. But there are a couple really neat things this did. First off, I had heard from the demo the dodging wasn't great. Let me tell you, dodging felt really good. And there are especially some upgrades you can get from the P organ, which doesn't matter if I say it or write it out. It just doesn't sound the best. But I'm going to have to say it a couple more times, so just be prepared. But there's upgrades you can get that affect you can do another dodge right away, or you can dodge as you're getting up from the ground. Different things like that. The dodging felt really good, and I loved doing it. Let's go right into the P organ. Just every time I say it. The P organ is your way of upgrading. You get quartz, and you put your quartz into it, and there are 4 upgrades per trim level, we'll say, phase, but there's 4 upgrades per, and like the first phase, each upgrade has 2 slots where you would need to put in 2 quartz, and each slot is there are skill trees, which is I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, just like combat, survival, items, and I cannot remember the fourth one off the top of my head. But then there's 4 in each of those. So, like, 4 in phase 1 of combat. One might be your attacks do some more damage. 4 in phase 1 of survival. One could be you dodge a little faster. One in phase 1 of items might be item prices cost a little less at merchants. Different things like that, where you'd require 2 of them for each upgrade in phase 1. And then once you upgrade a couple, like get a couple full upgrades, you activate phase 2, which maybe that one has 2 upgrades again, like 2 items, quartzes again per upgrade. Upgrade a couple of those and you go to the next one. Maybe these have 3 quartzes per upgrade. And each one unlocks a second phase of that, those 4 tiers for you to get. And it just keeps going, keeps going. It can be really helpful, some of them. I think I'm at a point now where there's becoming less and less that has me saying, okay, there's going to be a huge help in my next playthrough. There's less and less of that. But, it's whatever. That I've now played it a lot. But, like, some of them are super, super helpful and can change the way you play the game. The other big thing are the Legion arms, which Pinocchio's one arm is mechanical because he's a puppet. And there are multiple different ones, like there's one that shoots fire, one that does electric blasts, one that's basically a harpoon that you can use to bring an enemy to you. Another one that I use a lot, lays down mines. So an enemy walks through and boom. There are a number, I want to say it's like 7 different ones, 7 or 8 different ones. And they can really change up the gameplay. I literally was forgetting to use it for like half my first playthrough. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to start it's not just this game. Apex Legends, I forget about my ultimate ability and tactical abilities all the time. It's just the way I play. But like once I really thought of it, I was going through and using Legion Arm, and it really changed up how I was playing the game. It was nice. It made combat super fresh, super fluid. It was wonderful. And basically the rest of the gameplay, if you have played Soulslikes, you get the gist. You get Ergo for killing enemies, which is really neat how Ergo plays into the story. Ergo is the life force of puppets and the life... I'm not going to go in any further. Story spoilers, I almost did, but I'm not going to. But you use Ergo to buy items or to level up. I'm not going to go too much deeper into the rest of the gameplay because it's Souls. That's how it is. Overall, the presentation of this game, I feel, is incredible. I absolutely love the level design. There were a couple areas I'm like, it's fine, whatever. But most of them had me going, oh, I love the look of this. I love the layout. This is so cool. I love being here. It is super creepy, which, again, plays into that dark gothic Bloodborne vibes. I love that. I love that where it just feels a little unsettling to be there. It's not scary, but it's one of those where it's like, it's when you go into a house and you're like, oh, this house is definitely haunted. But it's not haunted. You just feel like it's going to be. You feel like at any moment something's going to pop out, and it never does. I mean, it does sometimes in this game because they're like putting an enemy right around the corner. But you know what I mean. That's how this game feels, and it feels really good. But just overall, the presentation is so well done. I love the look. I love the vibes. I love what this game brings to the table. It really sets itself apart. And it makes me want to keep playing. to learn about the lore because the gameplay is so good. It makes me want to keep coming back. And there is an ending cutscene that sets up for a sequel. It's not a surprise because they literally announced they're doing a sequel, and I think they said DLC too, which heck yeah, I will play everything. It makes me want to keep coming back, and it's so wonderfully put together in a way that a lot of games of this ilk are not done, where everything just connects. And I think Lies of P is honestly, it is one of my favorite games of this year. As of right now, it is in my top 5 of this year. And I want you to think about how strong of a year this has been for games. That's how well done I think Lies of P is. How much of an impact it has had on my gaming this year, and how much it has had me saying, I'm going to keep an eye on this company, and I want more games like this. I highly, highly, highly recommend Lies of P if you like, the Souls genre. I highly recommend just watching maybe like a lore video on Lies of P because it has such a cool story and world. So even if you can't play it, I recommend checking it out in some form or the other because this game deserves your time. And that's the biggest compliment I can give it. This game deserves your time, deserves your attention. Even if you're not into the genre, it deserves it in some fashion. Thanks y'all for listening to this Lies of P review. I will be back soon with another review as I'm playing a few games right now. Until next time, good night, listener. Good night.